Impact segment tonight, the debate over how America should fuel itself is becoming very intense because gas prices are now through the roof and folks are getting hurt. As you may know, Newt Gingrich says that he as president could bring down the price of gas to $2.50 a gallon, and he is mocking the president's alternative energy vision.
I don't think the president quite gets it. There is no algae that's going to come out of this summer. This is the dominant device by which the American people fill their cars and trucks.
Lately, we've heard a lot of professional politicians, a lot of the folks who are, running for a certain office, who shall go unnamed. They've been talking down new sources of energy. If some of these folks were around when Columbus set sail, they must have been founding members of the Flat Earth Society. They would not have believed that the world was round.
Joining us now to analyze, Leslie Marshall in Los Angeles, Janine Turner in Fort Worth, Texas. So, Janine, do you think alternative energy is a good thing? Let's start there.
Well, I think alternative energy eventually is a good thing, but I think we have to have a reasonable transition. I mean, if you think about it, we didn't blow out all of our candles until we had dependable electricity, and we don't have anything reliable. I mean, he jokes about the telephone and Rutherford B. Hayes, and yet the telephone is not Solyndra. And so I think, can I throw out some statistics here that I think are really interesting?
Sure.
We have, okay, if you don't mind, just for a second, because I think this is really fascinating. We have 24 billion barrels of oil just recently discovered in North Dakota, which could exceed almost 500 billion barrels of oil. And we're sitting on 1.44 trillion barrels of oil and 2.7 quadrillion cubic feet of natural gas. That could bring in $18 trillion worth of royalties to the U.S. government, which could pay off our debt. I mean, we have all this. Why don't we harness both these things at the same time?
All right, I can't answer the question. I mean, I can't even vet the stats, but just to continue the conversation into the political realm. You don't have any beef about alternative energy. You just don't believe it's ready. And I assume you don't want all of this money going into Solyndra to try to get it ready. You think that's a private marketplace deal, right? Am I right?
Well, I absolutely think it's a private marketplace
All right,
deal.
now, Leslie, you're seeing a president who is basically defiant. Even though we know that a lot of federal money has been wasted, money we don't have, money we had to borrow from China, and that's coming up later, okay? The president still says, you know what? My vision is right, even though we wasted all of this money. And guys like Newt Gingrich, who, are saying what Janine's saying, you got to drill, and develop what we have here, they're flat earthers. And you say?
Well, I wouldn't use flat earthers, but 2 + 2 is 4. And all of the scientists, all of the economists, regardless of political party, Bill, say that even if we had the Keystone Pipeline, even if we drilled every possible drill or hole that we could drill, you're talking about a cent or two difference at the pumps, because you're talking about the price of crude oil is an international marketplace commodity. So on a global level, you're talking about a less than 1% difference. That is not going to bring prices down to $2.50 like Newt Gingrich said.
I don't know about $2.50. I mean, who knows? But look, we have plenty of oil in here in the United States, plenty. There's a big oversupply because of the warm winter, as we've said. Yet, the oil prices have doubled under President Obama. 61%, Leslie, think he's handling the energy crisis badly. 61%. That could knock him out in November. You know it.
Well, I don't disagree with that number and how the American people feel. But, a simple search of Google will show you that historically, whether it's a Republican or Democrat in the White House, if the price of crude oil goes up, the price of the gas tanks goes up, period. No one president can single-handedly change that because it is a market issue.
No, but one president can influence the world market by doing certain things, as presidents in the past have done. They can release the oil that Mr. Obama was talking about. Now he's walking that back. But there's a whole bunch of things you can do that haven't been done. Rein in speculators. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on with Lou Dobbs. But the president has done nothing, and Americans are holding him accountable. Now, I think Mr. Obama is stubborn, Janine, just as a guy. I just think he's stubborn, and he says to himself, I'm going out on the way I came in. Once in a while, he'll do a little flipper flopper. But he's basically saying, look, I don't really care about Solyndra. I don't care about the stuff that hasn't worked. I'm going to keep doing it, and you either take it or leave it. I think that's his platform, Janine.
Well, I think that's his platform too, Bill, because it doesn't make any sense. It's just not reasonable. It's because if he were reasonable, you'd care about the American people, not what he thinks should be the vision for the American people. And this gas is really difficult. I mean, when I fill up my gas car, it's unbelievable. We're sitting on a wealth of gas and oil, and he wants to stifle coal, stifle oil, stifle natural gas drilling, and it just doesn't make any sense. If you're reasonable, let's harness what we have here, not be dependent on the Middle East, and then in the process start to work on a transition.
Yeah, I think
but
that'll be a
we're not there
Republican
yet.
theme, Leslie. I think that's how the Republicans are going to go after him, say just what Janine said. We got plenty here. He doesn't want it. Vote for us. Leslie, last word, please. You got 30 seconds.
Well, on a domestic level, the demand has gone down, but on an international level, the demand has gone up. And like Janine said, alternative energy is a good idea. At some point, we've got to start sometime, and President Barack Obama says the time is now, and I agree with him.
Okay, you agree with all of the federal money going in, and so far there's no results. All right,
Yeah.
Leslie, you know, that, you're entitled to your California opinion. And we have a brand new BillO'Reilly.com poll question for you. Is the after